Richard, this is my master bathroom.
All right. So the existing vanity looks a little lower than the new one. The other one seems higher. Was that by design?
Yes, it was, Richard. Was
Good,
by design.
Good. All right, the other one we have downstairs also has drawers on the left-hand side. So let's be sure that'll fit. So drawers will be here. You can see the drains right here. That's great. And the hot and cold are on the right. So perfect. All right, let me get the hot and cold off and we'll get rolling.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
With the water off, we can disconnect the sink from the P-trap. And then break the hose connections to the faucet. I'll use my utility knife to break the seal between the sink and the countertop. Since we're not saving this vanity, I don't have to be too fussy. All right, here you go, Bill.
Thanks, Richard.
Now, the only thing holding the vanity in place is a few screws. Okay, just set it right there. You excited to have your new vanity up here?
Very excited.
All right, the old one had an open back, so I could just take it right away, but the new one is much better quality. It actually has plywood on the back, so I could just cut the whole opening. But you know what? You've waited this long, so what I'll do is turn the water off, cut these copper lines, cut the drain back so I can just drill the appropriate holes, all right?
Sounds great.
This existing drain is actually glued PVC, and I want to cut it back, but if I cut it right close to the wall, I wouldn't have a good place to tie on my new work. So I'm going to go to this point right here and cut the PVC. So we have to transfer where these pipes are to so we can drill the holes in the back of our new vanity. So this is 25 and an eighth. This is 18 and an eighth. And they're both 22 and 3/8 up. All right, now we're just gonna cut the holes.
Excellent.
Okay, so I've drilled the holes. Let's just get it into position. That's pretty good. With the vanity nice and level, we can screw it into the studs. So the valve I've chosen for this is actually a solderless connection called a compression connection. It has a nut and a ferrule. So the nut goes onto the copper pipe that I've cleaned. Then a brass ring called a ferrule goes onto it. Now when I tighten up this nut against that thread a lot, I'll actually compress and deform that ferrule right into the copper pipe. All right, so here's our granite countertop. It's actually upside down, and I love the sink you've selected here. This is a china bowl, but it's an under-counter mount, and so we need to make a nice seal right here. So I'm going to use silicone caulking to go right around here. These clips will actually secure the sink to the countertop, and I love that the countertop company is already pre-drilled. All right, Donna, so the sink is mounted. Now we have to mount the faucet. It comes in 3 pieces. This is what it'll look like, the handle look like. This is the cold stem. There's another hot, and then the spout right here. But we have to make sure that it's a watertight seal, so if any water spilled on the countertop, it doesn't go down. So we're going to put some putty. But there's an important distinction. This regular plumber's putty has oil in it, and if somebody used that, it would leach and wreck the granite countertop. So
we don't want that.
We do not. So they make a special stain-free for use on granite, marble, quartz, and sandstone. All right, so I'll do a little bead of that around each one. It's much easier to install the sink and faucet up here where I have room before we secure the countertop in place. You can see how that excess putty just squeezes out as I tighten up the faucet. So I'm going to tip this over, but before I do, I want you to see what goes on underneath the part of the sink you don't see normally. You got hot and a cold, and they connect right here through these flexible lines. And this is the handles up above, so you get there's full pressure all the time sitting right here. And when you open up the hot water, it will come through this little flexible tube and out through the spout. If you open up the cold, the same thing will happen on the other side. It'll mix right here, out through the spout. When you lift the stopper, you can see what happens. There's a knob up here. This will go up and down, and that'll make the stopper go up, okay? It's a lot easier to work on up here. It's easy to show it to you, too.
Thank you for showing me.
All right. Now let's tip it up. With the countertop secured to the vanity, I can now make up the drain connections in PVC. Well, I tell you guys, I love it. I love the choice. I love the countertop, the granite, the higher height. What do you guys think?
Great choices.
You picked it, right?
Yes.
I love it.
And you've been waiting long enough for it, haven't you?
7 years.
Okay, give it a try. Come on, it's your turn. All right, so we got hot and cold. Everything's connected. Level, plumb, and square. But I do notice that the floor is a little bit ratty over there, and a little squeaky.
I have the floor man on standby.
We've unlocked you back into the remodeling world. Good job. Bye, my dear.
Thank
Enjoy.
you.